Hello, welcome to another episode of SDS, the greatest football podcast in the world. And thank you for joining us for one of the best episodes ever. We are now the day after one of the greatest European finals in history between two teams that finished in 16th and 17th place in the Premier League. It was a well-fought, well-contested match, eventually won by Tottenham Hotspur, which of course hurts me to say as an Arsenal fan. But of course, we have three great Manchester United fans on this podcast. If you are long-time viewers of SDS, we have three of the greatest minds of the Manchester United fan base, three of the most entertaining Manchester United fans in the UK, and three loyal supporters of their club. So I thought it would be wrong of me to not bring them all together on one table, because we've had moments in the past where we've had emergency meetings and manager sackings, emergency meetings, and I think, you know what? I think this should be another one, right? So I'll introduce them first of all, so we can talk, because this one's not about me, because obviously they're the ones that were in the final. So first person next to me, straight from Bilbao, actually. He traveled to Bilbao. He left his house Tuesday morning. He took a flight to France. Then went from France, he traveled to Madrid. Then from Madrid, he took a coach? Yeah. 4 hours to Bilbao, 4.5 to Bilbao to see his team, the greatest English team of all time, 3 Champions League wins, to see them in the second string European competition, to kind of maybe save their season so they can have a better season than Arsenal. It's Elias! Opposite him, it's another great Manchester United fan, one of the best speakers in this country, in the content world. Very passionate when he speaks. Loves Ineos. Had them in his background for a while. He also virally, famously sang a song in his TikTok, which was really catchy actually. Obviously a United fan, but he sang it really well. Obviously, the glory days are coming back. Ruben Amorim. He was singing his song. Massive fan of Ruben Amorim, clearly, because he sang it. On his TikTok. Super Man United fan, massive. He knows all the owners' names. Everyone, told me all about them. It's Az Biscuits. And last but not least,
I despise how much you're enjoying it.
Oh, I need this. Last but not least, I've been waiting for this one. This one, he deserves the best introduction. I've known him the longest on this table. Go back a long time. Massive Manchester United fan. Probably one of the biggest that I know. May 13th is his birthday. Just had a birthday recently. Congratulations. Turned, obviously, a big age. I'm not going to reveal it. On May 13th in 2012, on your birthday then as well, Man City won the Premier League, Aguero. So that was a heartbreaking moment. But he still continued to support Man United. Then we started the podcast. He's one of the original members of the podcast, and since we started the podcast, United have been down bad. Obviously, they picked up a few trophies on the way, and he's not wasted an opportunity to laugh at Arsenal fans, to dunk on us, to the point where he started saying things, like a trophy is better than, a trophy and finishing 8th is better than not winning a trophy and competing for the big trophies, to the point where he was getting his way so much so that he lost his mind recently, and even had the audacity to tell me, first of all, we're going to win the Europa League. And when we do, 16th place in the Europa League is better than finishing second in the Premier League and getting to the Champions League semi-final. And he got a bit of love for that, So I'd love to ask him now what he thinks, because I famously said, hey, he does some sort of witchcraft, but it didn't work. It finally didn't work. Lost for words. Live on the podcast yesterday, or the watch along. You've seen all the clips. It's the greatest Manchester United fan, the man that everyone wants to hear from today, especially me. It's Lee Man. Boys, I would love to have Fuad here, but listen, everyone wants to see you guys. Fuad's going to have his time to celebrate over the next few days. He's got a parade to go to actually on Fridays. Congratulations to Fuad and Spurs fans. But let's get into Man United. 16th place. Probably going to finish 17th because they got Villa next. Lowest, officially could finish the lowest ranked team in the Premier League outside the 3 relegated teams. So that's one thing. Got to Europa League final. Potentially could have saved their season and had a better season than Arsenal apparently. Lost it. What does this mean for Manchester United Football Club? What does this mean for Ruben Amorim with the Moncler jacket? What does it mean for Abs, Lias, and Liban? Please take it away, guys.
The first thing I want to say is you touched on it with the introduction. To me, I don't think there's, in my opinion, there's a lot of pathetic people in regards to what happened and what has been happening at Manchester United. But since that final whistle's gone, I genuinely don't believe there's anyone more pathetic than myself. Why do I say that?
Great start. Great start.
Unacceptable, pathetic, disrespectful to the establishment, in the words of Rory. This is about Manchester United now. Is what I've been as a fan, and is what I think the ownership has been since they've walked in. I think the management has been, and I think I don't want to. If we talk about the players, I think I'm going to say things that are out of line. So I just don't think that's necessary. We'll talk about them later on anyway. But you spoke about, and I don't think maybe it was just a delusion. The Glazers have been the owners since obviously I've been watching football. But I almost kidded myself, like I am not a fan of the age that I am at. That I have not seen Manchester United win in Moscow, the Champions League, win multiple Premier League titles, and I've acted like a spoiled brat.
I agree.
The worst part of it is I have been here and witnessed for all this time, since Amorim and Ten Hag in the recent years, the most pathetic low point that Manchester United have ever been involved in. And what was I doing during that time? I was fucking chanting and talking about fucking Ineos as if they've got anything to do with here. Sorry, I won't swear too much. But it's ridiculous that the management of this club has gotten to this stage where we're talking about people who are bringing in youth players, buy from the Premier League, let's recruit for the future. Brother, everywhere I look, I've never felt like this as a Manchester United fan. Everywhere I look, I see below par. There's below par on the ownership level. When we spoke, I remember when we were talking about ownership at the beginning, it was between Qatar and Jim Ratcliffe. Obviously, we all wanted Qatar at some point. But the fact that we've sat here and gone through this ownership that dilly-dallied last year, we were in the FA Cup and they had the decision to either get rid of Ten Hag or not. And that decision has been a domino effect to today. Because what Ten Hag left us with is ridiculous. What Amorim picked us up with and left us with now is even worse. If it wasn't for three of the worst promoted teams in Premier League history, Manchester United Football Club would be in the Championship. Like that needs to just sink in. And none of these people deserve the badge to be attributed to them. And that's why I said losing before the final, losing to Spurs in a European final, the only correct decision has to be liquidation of the club. And I don't say that as banter. I mean that as this club, this heritage. The video that they put out, the United actual page put out, where he spoke about heritage and he spoke about tradition. None of these people deserve that. And I mean that as fans, and I mean that about myself as well. Because I've sat here and I've made TikToks. I went to go lose to Chelsea and chat about going to Bilbao. Am I a dickhead?
I think you are, mate.
It's ridiculous. And there's notes I've made. I want to talk about the fact that Amorim, Ineos, so many different parts of the club that are poor. But more than anything, it is pathetic. The club has been pathetic. It is embarrassing. That's the main word, embarrassing. I don't know. I can't understand how he must have felt.
Oh, I can't wait to
and we're going to go to that as well, having to go with that himself
Yeah.
and watch that yourself. But the worst part is the naivety after the game. I think Amorim might be one of the worst managers to have in moments like this. Let me tell you why. Because of how good he speaks and how brilliant and eloquent that he is, it's almost like it's kidded me. And I'm part of it as well. I'm at fault for it. I have been kidded since he's walked in about this, what he's selling me. And I've been sold by it. And he's talking and losses are happening in the Premier League. We're losing. But then I go to his press conference and he's like, we have to suffer. The team, they have to suffer. Fuck suffering!
Faisal said the same thing.
What do you
And you
mean
didn't
suffer?
listen.
What do you mean suffer?
Yeah.
There's suffering and then there's Manchester United potentially finishing 17th in the Premier League table.
That's not right, man.
That's an unacceptable amount of suffering. That is a sacking-worthy amount of suffering.
But why did it take... Wait, obviously, no one wants to hear from me right now. Obviously, people want to see me, of course, have fun. But what I would ask, why did it take losing this one game for you guys to understand that? Because I tried saying... The fact that you guys are 17th or 16th or 17th is the worst. Whether you win the Europa League or not, well, obviously it would have been saved if you won the Europa League a little bit, is the most unacceptable thing in the history of football for a club like Man United. Even if you're Arsenal, if you finish 17th, it's ridiculous. And then all I kept hearing was, but if we win Europa League, we have a better season than Arsenal.
Forget about that.
What was that
I'm
quote?
making that point.
But
You can't
what I'm
attribute
saying,
to that to me.
and I'd love to hear it, but I'm saying why, now that you lost the Europa League, now you're looking at 17th and saying it's ridiculous.
It's not about now.
But
If any person who's been seeing what I've been saying over the last couple of nights, for me, my problem is I was too pussyfooted about it. I didn't put my balls on the table. That was a problem with me. The reality was, I was asking questions. And it wasn't good enough to be asking questions. I should have been making statements. But the questions I asked, well, does this manager deserve backing? Because every manager has to warrant a level of backing in the window. So you have to show me something from the moment you walk in to the summer window. Have you coached at least something that's tangible? Something that I can see.
I've not seen signs.
That deserves, warrants backing. And that's the question I've been asking. And the weakness of me was that I only asked questions rather than making statements, it is unacceptable. I have seen nothing. We have gotten rid of players, maybe necessary, but there are fans that have been led to believe by this manager. I literally saw a TikTok today where a fan said, maybe Ruben Amorim meant to lose this game. Maybe he meant to lose this game to uncover what's going on and to make sure we don't paper over the cracks. There isn't papering over cracks with this. Man United, the currency of football is winning trophies. You go to a final, you win that final. This is Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. I don't care what the situations of a club are.
Aye, but listen, they beat you 4 times this season, so that should have happened. The right team won. I mean, and I saw another fan say that Bruno Fernandes should win Ballon d'Or, but we'll get to that. Lias, you were there. A couple of things for you. What was it like being there, and what was when did you realise that you weren't going to win the Europa League, and what was the journey like on the way home? So going there, you're optimistic.
Optimistic is a big word, right?
I know every single United fan was so confident they're going to win. Not one United fan was.
If you
wasn't
watch
confident.
my content, I was consistent throughout it, right?
Yep.
You can watch anything that I did around this game. I said, I think Man United, I believe Man United will win because it's my club. I have to support them, right? I have to believe they're going to win. What's the point of me going to the final if I have in my mind that we're going to lose? That doesn't do anyone any good. So let's go in with a positive mentality. But all throughout the week, I've been of the opinion that this could go either way. And to be honest with you, I give Spurs a big chance because, as you said, they'd already beat us 3 times. That's 4 now. That's a sweep. They just swept us this season. 4-0.
Yeah.
And I heard all this talk from our fans, from pundits, from people who are in high up positions, just this nonsense. And to be honest, I fell for it earlier in the season when we were doing Arsenal Real Madrid. And I said, I could give Arsenal 100 games against Real Madrid. I don't think they would win because it's Real Madrid in the Champions League. There's a certain level of heritage.
I remember you said that.
And I got egg on my face. So going a few months later to see this game, and I'm hearing Jamie Carragher and I'm hearing Man United fans saying, Man United in the European final against Spurs. It's just they're going to out. That's absolutely nonsense. That's not real life. That's like storytelling. It's romanticism, which is something that this club is far too in love with. The reality is, and I said it all week, if during this game, Ruben Amorim gets outcoached by Ange Postecoglou over 90 minutes, it doesn't matter how much fucking heritage we have. It doesn't matter how many European titles we won under Fergie, what we won with Wayne Rooney at the helm, what Spurs were doing with Villas-Boas. All that matters is the 2 teams on display now and how they prepare for this game. And the reality is, neither of these teams were that great. Neither of these teams are that great. Spurs are not a great side. They're below us in the league. They're one of the only teams to do so. But over 90 minutes, I think they nullified Man United's best weapons. I think Ange Postecoglou largely nullified Amorim. I think Amorim's substitutions were far too untimely. And I think the better team won. People will look at the United possession, the chances at the end, but that was an embarrassing performance. It was a poor performance. And I'm not even really mad about the amount of time it took me to get there, how much money I spent, because let's be real, right? There's people that go to watch Man United week in, week out, all across Europe. They go to watch Lehia, they go to Poland, they go to wherever Man United are playing. They spend crazy amounts of money. I don't even want to think about it. I went to 1 game, right? Or I've been to games this season, but I went to 1 European away day. So what? Just because I lost out on money and time, that doesn't make me any different. What I'm really upset about is that I feel like I wasted my time during the 90 minutes. It's not the journey that I regret or anything. It's how embarrassing and how unenthusiastic.
You feel like you wasted your time over the whole season?
No, the whole
16th.
I mean, it is a waste of time, but for this game, you just think, right? For 90 minutes in the European final against Spurs, the season has been so shit, we know that, but you have a chance to at least bring a little bit of pride to your fans. I saw United fans yesterday sleeping in the bus stop. The situation at Bilbao, by the way, was an absolute joke in terms of the hotel prices and stuff like that. Of course, the club would never do anything to support that. They can barely even send their own staff out at the current moment. But I see people literally sleeping on benches outside, taking ferries to go to this game. And all throughout the week, in a season where we finished 17th, we have these dickhead playlayers talking about, oh, forget about
right,
this.
man.
Just back us, basically. Just be with us in Bilbao. For you guys to give us that
Well, they
shit.
had nowhere to stay or nothing.
Huh?
People had nowhere to stay.
Me, I didn't have anywhere to stay. I left right after the game.
You as well.
I didn't have anywhere to stay. You think I'm paying $3,000 for a hotel? Fuck no.
That's not
Anyways,
right, man.
for me,
It's
right?
not fair, man.
This is one of the darkest days in Man United. I want to be sensitive with what I say here, right? Because Man United have had a lot of dark days on and off the pitch, right?
Yeah, of course.
But
On the pitch, yeah.
this is in the last 50 years, last half century, the darkest day in Manchester United's history, in terms of everything taken into account, bro. 17th place in the league. You can laugh all you want, bro. 17th place in the league.
Sorry. No, carry on. Sorry.
17th place in the league, losing to Spurs, a team that haven't won a trophy in 17 years, putting on that performance, the financial situation we're in, missing out on Champions League back-to-back seasons for the first time post-Fergie. It doesn't get worse than this. This is the bottom. The only thing worse than this is relegation. And at this point, I think you'd be a fool to actually count that out. Anything is possible now with this club.
Yeah.
The future, bro, I don't know what happens to the manager.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens to the players.
We're gonna get
the
into
board. It doesn't matter.
We're gonna get into
All
that.
of them can get smoked, bro.
Liban, obviously we haven't heard from you yet all this episode. You were obviously on the watch along so everyone can see your live reactions. Did a face off the other day with Fuad, and you actually really funny line. I liked when you said it, but it was a funny line. You said the last 5 years we've been in hell, but hey, hell's been a bit fun.
Yeah.
How did it feel that Ruben Amorim was this close?
You said that.
Yeah, he said that. But last 5 years, because they won a couple trophies, he said it was been a bit fun. How does it feel that Ruben Amorim was this close to heaven and he decided to keep him on the bench?
Say again?
What? Aiden Heaven bar. Is it Aiden Heaven bar?
Crazy.
Sword over your head, bro.
I was confused for a second.
No, anything does. Everything does. There's nothing much in there. So
It's starting already, yeah? It's starting already.
Yo,
So leave that.
it's 3v1. Honestly, if we want to
Yeah,
jump
it's
him,
a
who's
bit-
gonna
That'll be a clip. That'll be
it would be a
viral.
great clip. So anyways, Deep Bad, so of course my thing with you, I'll let them speak. My thing with you is more personal.
Yeah.
Because when we went out of the Champions League, of course it was sad for me, but I travelled back from Paris and I came straight on the podcast that same day, right?
Yeah.
And I came to face the music, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
And you hadn't even played the Europa League final yet, but you were speaking like you'd already won it. And the clip famously says, and I posted it again. You said, I think I'm going to win the Europa League, which, like Leah said, you should think that because your team's in the final. And then you said, when we win the Europa League, is our season better than Arsenal? Now that you didn't win the Europa League, did you actually believe when you said that? Did you actually believe that if you'd won that one game, the season's better?
I always stand on anything I say. Like that doesn't change. If we won a European title, I'll definitely take that over your season.
Okay, so now what's the answer?
That's a fact. But
So now what's the
can I
answer?
just say something?
Did you have a
before-
better season than us?
No, of course we didn't. No, you'd be a fool. Come on, bro.
I don't know. I don't know what you think.
Foolish. But what I'm saying is, don't.
So what do you
don't-
think about
okay,
it anyways?
so-
Forget Arsenal United for now. What do you think?
No,
Go
that's
on.
what I'm saying.
What's
I
your
want to
thoughts yesterday?
separate. You need to separate the two. Yeah.
The two
So
what?
The beef between me and you. That's
Now
one
you wanna
aspect.
separate.
No, I'm saying that one. As far as Arsenal United,
Yeah.
that debate that we're having, that's one aspect. When I'm talking about United and
Yes.
the issues at United, that's two separate things. Yeah. when
So
I'm
in this
discussing-
one, you're a
This one
liar
is a
for
shit house.
entertainment.
This is shit
Yeah.
house.
But
Yeah,
you
of
know
course.
you're shit house.
And I know I'm shit house,
Yeah.
but ultimately as well,
Okay.
you deserve it.
Yes, and now you deserve it.
And this- and-
and now
and-
hold it.
and that's why I'm gonna hold it. I'm
And now
gonna-
you deserve it.
that's fine.
Because your face yesterday, the memes yesterday on your head top.
One thing I'll say is, listen, it's give and take. We lost yesterday. You're gonna give it. I'm gonna take it. That's it. Fine. I know it sounds crazy, but that's reality. Yeah? So that aspect of it, that's a whole separate thing. Yeah. So that doesn't change. That doesn't invalidate
worry,
anything
yeah,
I said
yeah.
about your
I'm
club.
not finished.
I think I still stand on everything I said about your club.
Yeah.
Ultimately, so that's a separate
That's that.
issue.
Okay.
Now I want to
Okay,
talk about my.
let's talk about your
yeah?
club, please.
And
I want to hear it.
bro, for me, I've heard what Abs had to say. I've heard what Lees has had to say. Tell me one thing, yeah, that I haven't said over the last 3 years that has transpired.
Oh, Liban's back on it.
No,
I
I'm
told
saying
you.
that
I
hasn't
told you so.
transpired. No, I'm saying
I
what
told you
hasn't
so.
transpired,
Parade.
Because I'm just saying, in reference to managerial changes, yeah.
Ten Hag
the
would have won
issue-
this,
the
to be
issue-
fair.
No, I'm saying the issues at the club. Forget about Ten Hag. I don't even care about him at the moment. I'm talking about just managerial changes.
Yeah.
The issues at this football club. Yeah.
Yeah.
The culture at this football club. When we had the last time we had a discussion about the issues at Man United, when we hired Amorim and things weren't going well right at the beginning, what did I say to you?
Ride the storm.
I said, no, forget Ryder.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not even talking about Ryder. I'm just
I
talking about
can't
the
remember.
issues at the club. I said to you, something is deep rooted at this club. There's some sort of toxic culture at this club
course.
that goes beyond the results. I don't know what it is. Players that come.
I
to this
think
club,
it's ever since that advert you guys made.
Nah, it's
The
been-
sign the
it's
deal
even-
one
It's even
was
before
mental.
that, but that one's the mad thing. But it's even before that. But what I'm saying is, players for the last decade, But I'm not talking about this season.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about last year. And I'm talking about going as far back as when
Fergie left. Yes,
yeah?
I know.
How many players have come to this club, and in front of our eyes have deteriorated? And how many players have left this football club and have gone on to do better things? Let's just talk
See
about
where
this
they
season.
play, how
Let's
they
just talk-
play,
let's just
if
talk-
they play.
Look, but let's just talk about this season. Let's talk
Mourinho
about
was right.
just this season alone, though. I want to talk about just this season alone. Look at what Anthony's gone on to do at Betis.
I hope
Look at
that's
what
my next
Rashford-
hate watch. I
Look
hope
what
he
Rashford's
wins.
gone on to do at Aston Villa.
Hey, Champions League
Sancho-
quarterfinals.
Sancho is Sancho.
Yeah,
I'm
Sancho
saying-
could win a Sancho could win a European trophy.
But what I'm saying is,
He could win a European
ultimately, bro,
trophy.
there's something.
It's either Sancho or
there's something-
Anthony.
No, but what I'm saying is something deeper at this
Win-win.
football club, yeah, that for me just goes beyond results. It goes beyond results.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be a fool at this point not to at least acknowledge that. I'm seeing people. We lost the game yesterday. European, one of the darkest days I think I've ever seen in Man United history. Wallahi, one of the darkest days. Yeah, darkest days I've ever seen. Darkest season I've ever experienced in my entire life. Yeah.
It's got to be
And-
number one, yeah.
But it's crazy how 24 hours before that game, not a single person was saying Amorim out.
That's not true. That's definitely not true.
Well, I don't remember.
You guys are 16th place. Where have you got
guy-
to?
the guy at Liverpool was literally saying Amorim out.
Okay. But I'm saying as loud as they come today. As loud as they
Obviously,
They're-
it'll be louder
they're-
now.
There you go.
Wait,
No,
okay,
but
leave it.
Is that
Leave it.
wrong?
Leave
Is
it.
that
Leave it.
wrong?
Leave it.
Can
If
I
I show
go?
you-
Let me land. People have spoken for
That's
long.
the
Let me
question.
land. Because Cams was getting heat for the last few
Okay,
days.
I have more people.
Yeah, look at.
If I show you the messages my dad has been sending me for the last 3 months,
His
he's been
dad-
talking about Amorim.
his
I'm
dad-
saying
his
there's
dad
that
said
much
it.
people in my YouTube
Are they a
comments.
minority or
Bro,
are they a minority or them?
At every single
come on,
game
man.
throughout the season, it's become
That's
a
because
growing
they're Algerian, not
majority.
called
I'm saying
minority.
the
I have a
general
question, I have a
consensus, so
question.
it's not that. You look at Chelsea
We're all
fans.
minorities.
You look at Chelsea fans right now. There's a portion of Chelsea fans. Okay, so are we gonna do this where you're not
Bro,
gonna
this
let me
guy.
talk?
No, okay,
You let Alex talk,
okay.
you let Lias
Okay,
talk,
you know
so
what?
you're not gonna let
No,
me
this is
talk.
what I'm gonna do.
Is this what you're not gonna do?
No,
now? Because that's the type of episode you want. We can do that.
Yeah, let's
type
do that.
of
Let's do that.
episode. So
But
we're gonna
before
do
we do
that.
that, no.
No, you
Before
wanna
we
do that? You wanna
Yeah, I
do
could do that.
Alright,
I
let's
could
do
do
that then.
that
So let's do
because it's
that.
dark. It's
Okay,
dark
let's-
now.
okay, let's do
It's
that,
dark.
let's do it.
But what I'm saying
Go on.
is, you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger man here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let this be a proper Man United.
But you're not, 'cause
No, wait.
the moment I
That's
open
what
my
I'm
mouth,
saying.
now everybody wants
He
to
started
jump in.
talking,
I
not
haven't
me.
spoken
He
since
started talking, not me.
anyone has spoken.
Okay,
So let's
exactly.
not do
So
that.
let me
Let's
say.
do that.
So let me
The
finish
episode
what I'm gonna
becomes-
say.
Yeah.
I want to be a bigger man here because I
Yeah.
actually want to see this unfold. I want to hear what you guys got to say. So I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna bring Hussein in, Barra Brothers host,
Yeah,
who's also a Man United fan,
yeah, get your-
and he's the great host. Hussein, please, we want to hear from you.
Get off
And it's even better now
Yeah.
because he looks like Ange, and he's a United fan.
Get off the table, man.
Hussein, come.
the table.
And I'm gonna watch.
This episode, what
No,
happened?
I'm gonna watch.
Nothing.
Everyone wants to hear what you guys got to say.
Yeah.
Hussein, come in. Hussein, come in. I want to hear this. Carry on, man.
Shut the
Liban,
fuck
you were
up.
saying.
Sure.
Go on, you were saying.
Shut your mouth, man.
Good day, mate. I look more like Amorim, by the way, than Ange. I just want to put that out there.
No, see, like now I have lost my train of thought. Look, this
No, stand on it, stand on it. No,
when I
what you were
tweet
saying
now,
is true. What you were saying is true.
I'm moving mad.
You're
Alright,
asking
cool.
whether
So there you
Man
go.
United
So you
fans
said
who are
evidence.
Amorim-
You
I
see
just
that?
You asked the
Alright.
question,
You're
right?
No, but
asking
hear
whether
what I'm
Amorim
saying.
out
Look,
fans
let me
before.
land, and then you understand my point. My point is this. The people that were saying Amorim out is a minority. You go to Chelsea right now, there's a small section of Chelsea fans that are saying they don't want Enzo Maresca there, even as well as he's doing. So that you're always gonna get that regardless. But my point is the general consensus was never, prior coming into this final, was never Amorim out. It was never. There was never a situation where we went to this game saying if Amorim loses,
Yeah.
we need to leave this club. We never
100%.
said that.
100%.
I
100%.
heard you. You landed the
No,
point.
no. Let me
Can I say something in response?
let me just finish everything I've got to say. Let me get everything on my chest. Then you can say what you want to
Go
say.
ahead, go ahead.
Going into this final, nobody was saying that. No one said we lose this final. This guy has to go. He stays. Whatever. We become jolly and we give him what he needs. No one. It wasn't the situation that we had with Ten Hag last season in the FA Cup. It wasn't that. All of a
not
sudden now,
identical, it's not
in the
identical.
game where we lost simply to the better side that have been better than us over the past year, who've beaten us 3 times. If you actually look at the stats, we actually played in terms of chances. They only had 1 shot at goal.
Fuck off,
Brother,
man.
who
Fuck
gives a
off.
shit?
No, but they
That's
did.
the
But
fact.
they did.
That is
No,
the
no,
fact.
no, 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 no.
They
Just tell you why you
had
should
to
care.
care, but
No, 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 no.
no,
Because I'll tell
you
you
do
why
have to care.
You
because
do
know
have to
what it
care.
is.
You do have to
No,
care.
you do have to
Guys,
care.
listen,
No,
listen,
no,
listen,
no,
you do have
one
to
second,
care.
one second.
No, because Liban, there's only
One second, we
Can
do
I
have to
say
care.
one thing?
Yeah.
when we did the second leg PSG Arsenal, I said we played better, and you said it doesn't matter. You said we're out, it doesn't matter. You said it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
I'll tell you why. It's not about that.
I'm not talking about that though.
It's how the people have changed.
I'm saying how people change their tone. I'm not talking about that.
Okay, cool.
I'm not doing
I
that
hear your
to
point.
blame one goalkeeper for the reason why you're leaving out. Listen, let me just land.
It's how fickle the fan base is. It's how fickle the fan base is.
If you want to have a rebuttal, just say it after, please. Let me just get my points off.
There's a
Let me just
reason why you
Talk.
Let me just get my points off, Abs. Let me get my points off, okay? I've let everyone get everything off their chest. Let me get my stuff off my chest. When going into this final, that was the consensus. No one had this idea that regardless of whether we win or lose, Amorim needs to go. No one said that.
That's not true. That's not Liban. You can't keep making these huge general
yes,
statements.
because you're talking about only Cams. You're talking about somebody. You're talking about Cams. Listen, I'm saying. Did you say?
Let's not do that. Let's not.
But let's not. You can't say that.
Did you say Amorim out before the final? Then shut up then.
What do you mean?
Talking about then? So you're saying today? You said today Amorim out.
Nobody was. I didn't say I was.
Listen, no. My point is this: you change your tone. You change your tone. Just like a lot of fans did today.
Okay, cool.
So let me land.
No, but you can't because you just talked about me, so I'm gonna answer.
No,
you spoke about me. No, brother, you were speaking. Do you know the reason why I wasn't interrupted? Elias was interrupted. We weren't making generalizations about people. If you say something, you're gonna be checked about.
If I said
you spoke about me, so I'm gonna respond.
No. I never said
about me, so let me respond.
I never spoke about you.
You brought me up now.
I said we said general. No, I brought you up now because you.
Okay, no problem. So let me respond.
No, listen. If I'm saying generalizing, I never said Abs and Leah said this. I only said that just now because you're chatting.
Brother, because you're making generalizations that are not accurate.
But you're one of them. So how can you say it's not accurate?
Because it's not about me.
What are you talking about?
Okay, cool.
Listen,
let's see out of timeline. Liban says.
Abs, did you say Amorim out before today? No, you didn't. So my point lands. Don't try that. Listen, it does. Because you said there were
no United fans. I didn't say I wasn't one of them. But if there are United fans that we are aware of who were Amorim out before that point,
I just made the point about Chelsea.
Yeah, don't take it literal.
There is a small section. Don't take everything I'm saying literal. There is
clearly. What do you mean? Don't take it literally?
No,
you know what I mean.
Abs, come on.
That's what I'm saying
come
to
on.
you. He's moving like he's not educated.
Brother,
What do you mean?
moving like they're not educated?
He doesn't have to say literal.
I don't have to
finish
say
that
literal.
point.
Just let me
Finish
get
that
my
point. Finish that point. Yeah, but keep that. Finish that point.
Do you know what I'm tired of?
Land.
Do you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the emotional reactions that people keep constantly doing whenever things don't go well. When I told you, that managerial changes don't fix the fucking problems, you ignored it. You wanted a new manager. New managers come in, and now we got the worst problem, and now you want a new manager.
You're damn right.
So you never learned your lesson then.
What do you mean never learned your lesson? You wanted Ten Hag to stay.
So this manager's
we
coming.
might have been relegated.
What did Amorim say when he fucking came to the club?
It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse, bro.
He was chatting, brother.
What did he say?
What I'm saying.
No.
Cool.
What did he say? No. Because you know what it is. You lot want to pick and choose what suits you or what you like to hear and what you don't like to hear. Amorim came in first day, and said to you guys, I'm gonna fucking play my system. I'm gonna play the way I wanna play, regardless of this is not my squad, but I'm gonna do the best I can to make them play my way.
And the way he plays
listen, no, shush.
The way he plays
listen,
it's not.
I don't care.
It worked at Sporting. You can't say shit.
Listen,
Champions League. He demolished City. He demolished City.
Leah said to me, so now I directly talk about you guys then. Leah said to me himself out of his mouth, when Ten Hag was getting results, he said to me, I don't care about results. I'd rather see a style of play. I want to see identity. I want identity over style of play, over fucking results. Yeah. What happened to Ten Hag ultimately? He got sacked. Now we got a manager that said, I have a style of play. I have a system. I'm sticking to my system. You can see my system on the pitch. This is how I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
Man, am I still saying
we move goalposts, bro.
So you're moving the goalposts when it's your agenda.
We're not happy either way.
I'm not having this. Listen, me personally, I'm not having this bullshit anymore. I'm not having the bullshit. I'm gonna say how I feel and I'm gonna say how I think.
100%.
And then if you have a rebuttal, have your rebuttal.
Inshallah.
Have your rebuttal. Inshallah, because every time you keep interrupting.
I haven't spoken for 2 minutes. I'm still waiting.
Okay, so
I'm not talking.
my point is this, and I'm gonna make and this is gonna be my final point. Then you can say whatever you want. I'm saying, Wallahi, God can strike me down. God can strike me down if I am to see these players survive or outlast another manager ever again.
100%.
I need to see Luke Shaw out.
Yes.
I need to see fucking Evans. You go to Maguire,
Lindelof.
you go to Lindelof, you go to Onana, you go to Højlund, you go to Xerxes. I need to see all these guys out of my football club before I see this manager out of this
100%.
club. Everything
You're falling for the same thing again.
And everyone's talking about how this manager talks. I don't like how he said this, or this my guy's a bit too negative. Everything he's said, has not been a single lie.
100%.
It's not everything he said has been the truth, nothing but the truth. But yet, when Ten Hag was there trying to protect players, trying to give it the positive look, he still got cooked for that.
But you can't win.
Now you can't win
You can't win either way.
So what the fuck do you Man United fans want? What do you want at this
We're
point?
fickle, bro. We're fickle. We're fickle.
Can I answer?
We're
This is your
fickle.
final
Tell
point.
me,
Can I
please,
answer?
tell me what now
Thank
we
you very
want.
much.
Go on.
Thank you very much. With the point that you mentioned about the players, I'm in complete agreement with you. I want all of those players gone. But your problem is this. You say you want to break the cycle constantly for managers. If you feel, but my problem with you is with Ten Hag at the end of it, we told you this is not the right manager to not break the cycle on. I'm telling you that Amorim is also not the right manager to break the cycle on. That's my opinion. When it comes, please,
I'm not saying
I
that.
listened
Don't
5
say that,
minutes.
bro.
Thank you.
That's
Okay,
just
cool.
my
Okay. These players all have to go. I don't have an issue with that. And you said that Amorim nothing he says is wrong in the media. That's my problem. He has you two fooled. From the beginning, he's told you need to suffer, and he has made you to accept. Do you know what's ridiculous? You two are both older than me. You've both seen so much more success than I have. Yet you two here have let the standards go to a place that is unacceptable.
Over the
Well,
past 12 years. Over the past 12 years. Yeah, over the past 12 years.
Manchester
We're
United.
paying for our sins.
This is the worst.
Yeah, we're paying for our sins.
It hasn't got.
We're paying for our sins,
What
Abs.
sin? Who is it to
Oh.
pay for my sins? Let me
Bro.
finish what I'm saying.
Alright,
Let me finish what I'm
finish,
saying.
finish.
Manchester United now potentially will be 17th place in the Premier League.
Deservedly.
You mean to tell me
Deservedly.
who's been in charge of half of that time?
Deservedly.
Who's been in charge of that half time? Yes or no? Simple question.
Eric Ten Hag and
Who's been in
Amorim.
charge?
Eric Ten Hag and Amorim.
So this manager
Yeah.
that you were talking about has been managing since December.
Mm-hmm.
We are in May. He came into the job 4 points off top 4. We are now the only
Wait,
team.
no, don't say that. Don't. Put that point aside, please. Put that point aside.
I won't. I'm
4
gonna
points off top
tell
4 is
me
a silly
afterwards.
because
Tell
there's
me
only so
after.
many points
Tell me
available at that
after.
point.
Tell me
There's only
after.
so many
Tell
points
me after.
available.
Let me
Go on,
finish.
go
Tell
on.
me after.
So was everyone else.
So
Everyone
no,
was up 4 points off top 4. Well, go on.
please.
Go on.
We are 4 points off top 4 when he comes in. We are now going to finish 17th. The only teams below us are 3 of the worst promoted teams in Premier League history. Fact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a debate.
Fact.
That's a fact.
Fact.
You talk about what you see on the football pitch and how Leah spoke about identity. I spoke about identity with Ten Hag as well and questioned what he is doing in terms of are we going to see something regular, patterns on the football pitch, something that I can hang my hat on to say this is a coach who is coaching. Let me tell you what the basics of coaching is, brother. It's about platforming players and putting them in their best situation, getting a group of players, making them fight for one goal and improving them by putting them in positions that they are best suited to. He hasn't done that.
The players win
this
again.
Manager, please.
Go on, but the players win
this
again.
Manager, these players, don't get me wrong, they are shit. But they are not 17th in the Premier League shit. That means the people who are in charge of these players have to hold some responsibility. And this is Manchester United Football Club. Not only do you finish 17th in the Premier League, you also lose to Spurs in a European final. Heads must roll. His head must roll. The players' head, every single person that you've mentioned, their head must roll. The ownership, their head must roll. Yes.
Can we stop? Can we just stop that talk, please, for a second?
Stop what talk?
Stop this talk about where Manchester United, where the standards gone. Where the fuck have you seen the standards for the last 12 years, bro? When
was a
you know
flaw,
the day the day Manchester United fans accept and understand we are not the club that we used to be. Wallahi, maybe we'll be
I
in a
don't
better
mind.
place.
I agree. I don't
100%,
mind. But
100%.
Maybe we'll be in a
We're
better
not
place
17.
when you finally
Where are
accept
we? Where are we?
reality.
Where are we?
Yesterday,
No, where are we?
Yesterday was the biggest reality check to let you know you are not that club that you used to be. Do you know what we are? So, do you want the best analogy of what we are? Yeah. You know the Leng thing at high school. The buff girl in school,
the Leng one.
yeah, the Leng one, and then now she's fallen off, fallen off. Maybe have 5 kids, got a pot belly, and then she still thinks she's that girl from high school. That's what it is.
That's us.
That's exactly what Manchester. No, hold on. Can I tell you? That's exactly what Manchester. She's still moving on the streets like she's that girl from high school. She's not.
Come on, she's not.
And we're fooled.
Okay.
We're fooled. We're thinking we're that. When we start accepting who we are and what we are, maybe we'll start moving a bit different.
Cool.
Yeah. And what I mean,
We need to suffer. We need to suffer. What he said is true. Wallahi, we need to suffer. I promise you we do.
Listen.
I promise you we need to suffer to get better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. 100%. 100%.
And that's suffering.
Listen,
Can I
if we're
use
not
a metaphor?
17th,
Can
where
I
are
use
we?
this metaphor?
If we're not
Let me
17th,
finish.
where are we?
Go
If we're not 17th, where are we? Where should the squad realistically be?
This squad is 10th. 10th.
What are we doing?
10th.
Wow, what a great season! What a great season!
No one's saying
You're
it's
right.
better.
Sack him.
No one-
Sack him then.
You're damn right. Okay, cool.
Is that the standards? Is that the standards?
Can I use a metaphor?
17th to 10th.
Let me tell you what. Let me extend that metaphor. Let me tell you what Amorim has done to you. He has manipulated you two. He's got you two in a toxic relationship, and you are the girls that are chasing after him while he gives you sweet nothings into your ear. Let me finish, brother. I let you speak. Let me speak.
No, we don't have to do this. We can interrupt. We can
he is
interrupt.
whispering in your ear, and he has got you two fooled into believing it is acceptable to suffering. I don't mind. Say you can suffer. Don't give me this bullshit where he comes after the game and he says, if I have to leave this contract for free, but I will leave.
Okay, Abs, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? What's the alternative? What's the alternative?
I will leave this club, no compensation, but I will not quit my job.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Okay, well, listen.
How can you accept this?
Cool, Abs.
How can I completely understand what you guys are saying about the standards of the club. It has fallen low. I agree. The standards have fallen low.
Progressively.
But there is a floor in which, if it goes below this floor, heads must roll.
And I'm telling you, Amorim is the last head that must roll.
Why?
Because we've been through this. We've been through this. Wait, okay,
Bro,
let me talk. Let me talk. We've been through this enough times, Abs. We've got the Premier League proven manager in Moyes. We brought the international coach who brings total football in Van Gaal. We brought the legacy manager who's won everything in Mourinho. We brought the club legend in Oli. And then we brought the project manager, the guy who's up and coming, the wonder kid manager, whatever, in Ten Hag. Nothing has changed. The players have remained. The ownership has remained. Wait, please. The players have remained. The ownership has remained. And for me, that's the priority. That's what needs to change before we pick on another manager. I've seen these sackings before and nothing changes.
How can you possibly?
I can't believe you're falling for it again, Wallah.
How can you possibly say? Fucking hell! First of all, right? Jesus Christ! You guys went for 20 minutes. Like, y'all done? Can we restore some peace to this? Jesus.
Yeah, let's make friends, man. Come on, boys, man.
How can you guys say? How can you say?
Ruben Amorim. Let's sing the songs again, man.
Go on,
How can you guys talk about things haven't changed? I told you guys this with Ten Hag, right? He's just an employee of the club. The problem with Man United fans is they're in love with the story. No, they're in love with the story that they're going to find the right manager and he's going to have this 4 or 5 year journey where the whole squad is going to completely be shifted. And at the 5 year journey, as long as we believe in him, the guarantee at the end of it is there's a pot of gold. And that's us lifting the trophy. And my whole thing with Amorim all season, and you keep saying, yo, me. I haven't said once Amorim out.
I said you.
No, but you when you're saying, oh, you guys wanted Ten Hag last year to play a style of play, and now there's a guy doing it, and now you want him out. You're directing that at me because I was the one. But my point is, I haven't said Amorim out.
I know, I never said that. I never said that.
But you've lost a lot of confidence after this.
You have.
And I don't think that's wrong. Hold on, let me land. I don't think it's wrong that I've lost confidence in Amorim, especially after last night, and it's not because of the result. I completely agree. Last night was not a question about if we win, Amorim stays. If we lose, absolutely not. Last year with Ten Hag, the reason I was so harsh on Ten Hag is that he had 2 summers before last summer. We had spent over 400 million pounds building the squad in his image. And that's why I was running out of patience with him. With Amorim, he hasn't had the chance to do that. And that's why I've continued saying, if we're really going to judge him fairly, we got to give him at least 1 summer to bring in a few players. But shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of the room, bro. Seriously. Nah. I said champions again.
Champions finally.
3-time Europa League winners, yeah? No. Yeah, we did it now. That's racist.
Go on, bro.
I've been cut off like 50 times.
Nah, go on. We're talking.
What I was saying about Amorim, I've continued saying it. In a fair world, he gets this summer to at least be able to mold the squad in his view, right? His image. Get us a little closer. But I'm sorry, this idea as well too that it doesn't matter how many games we lose, what's the difference between 10th and 17th? It doesn't matter how we play whatsoever because he doesn't have any players. I'm sorry, that's not realistic either, guys. Like, I'm not asking for Amorim to even finish top 4, which is when we fired Ten Hag, I was actually saying, oh, the next manager, we're not that far away from top 4. When I saw that we were going to go this direction of this kind of manager, okay, expectations change. But I'm sorry, the expectation was never, oh, we finish as low as possible without getting relegated and hope something happens in the Europa League. That's not realistic. And my biggest issue with Amorim is really after last night because of the way we played. The Premier League, honestly, I've been able to look past it because playing Fredrickson at the end, they told us we're going to throw away the last 10 games of the season to focus on the Europa League. But that game right there, and this is why I'm not having you saying, oh, we played better than Spurs. Spurs were missing their 3 most creative midfielders: Bergvall, Madison, Kulusevski. They put out a midfield 3 yesterday of just pure workers in Basuma, Sarr, and Bentancur. That's not their ideal 3.
Of course not.
We probably put out last night, bar I would say Luke Shaw, but even in the eyes of Amorim, I think he considers Luke Shaw a very big piece player if he's fit. That's probably, I would say maybe Xerxes, but Xerxes wasn't match fit. The rest of them, that's Amorim's team. If everyone is fit, Amorim is going with that squad. That was a squad more in Amorim's vision than anything he's played with in the past. And the reality is, even with his team there, he put out a game plan that Ange was able to school like he was a little boy, bro. If we actually go into that game, the way we're trying to build out, let's actually talk about the game instead of just saying, instead of just saying, managers, you have to give them time, you have to give them time. Let's actually look at the managers in depth. The way Amorim is trying to play here, bro. We're going back and forth, center back to center back to Onana. Onana ends up lumping it. We try playing out through our wing backs. Luke Shaw plays it to Dorgu, who gets trapped in a corridor. How many times looks up, there's a man in front of him, so he has to either go back or deflect it out for a throw-in. That never works. We can't build out from the back, especially because neither of our number 10s ever show for the ball. That's all tactical. Everything I'm saying right now is tactical. It's not about player quality. It's about moving in the shape of the tactic. What do we end up doing 99% of the time? Because the build-up's not working, we go long to Rasmus Højlund, who's not a center forward that can hold up the ball. Why does he keep playing him? That's beyond me. 25, 30 minutes left in the game. Our final hope of winning the game for 30 minutes is to throw Maguire up front and lump balls to him. I'm sorry, bro. I can completely hear every manager needs time. He needs players. And again, I'm not saying Amorim out. But that's not tactics right there. All right, shut the fuck up or leave. Seriously.
Yeah, keep talking.
Seriously, shut the fuck up or leave, Faisal. It's a joke. If we're being honest, that's a joke, bro. Like, you don't have. It doesn't have to be about Amorim in or Amorim out. But you also have to look at it with objectivity as well, too, bro.
He's not. Wait, you can't say you can't criticize Amorim. I don't mind that. You can criticize. You can criticize Amorim.
A game like yesterday, it doesn't raise alarm bells. It doesn't give you any red flags whatsoever. Answer my question. Before you do, just answer my question. Last night didn't give you any red flags. Forget. I hear all your point about you have to give him time, but it didn't even spark anything in your head that that's a red flag for me.
Okay, so everything you said tactically, and I hear where you're coming from. Okay, and I don't dispute. And like he said, I'm not against criticism against him.
Can you just answer my question? Did anything spark in your brain yesterday from that game saying
yes?
That's a concern.
Yes,
that's a red flag.
in some ways, but also I have to also look at everything else as well. Not just that. Let's look at the facts here. Højlund and Xerxes, how many goals they got between each other this season?
It's not about the goals.
No, I'm just saying because ultimately, let me tell you.
No one can get them to score. No one can get them to score.
And we're making it seem like he pulled out the craziest masterclass. Bro, all he did was really and truly...
simple.
No, it was very simple.
It was very simple.
Listen, nullify their best players.
Should it be simple?
They're not going to score goals. Listen, nullify their best players. This is a team that don't score goals. Just defend well, and you're going to get the win.
Force them out.
The moment they got their goal, they weren't even interested in getting a second goal. They said, actually, we're happy with our goal. Yeah. We know you're not going to score. So you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to throw in another defender, and you're definitely not going to get the goal.
Let me tell you why I disagree with you.
That's it.
And
you know what? Listen, I'm telling you now.
Because Ange did much more than that. You're reducing his job. He did so much more than that, bro.
Listen what I'm saying to you. You have better strikers. Yeah. You have better players in that 10. Yeah. And I promise you, hold on, I promise you, the game that Ant did yesterday is more risky. If we had better players, there's a higher chance we're scoring.
Hold on, he just knew.
No.
Let me land. I'm saying to you, we have a strike force that have 7 goals between them. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real, guys.
A keeper who faces one shot and concedes.
Is a 16-year-old. Yeah, that's his strikers.
Let me retort.
They know. Hold on. We scored the fewest amount of goals this season.
Liban. They conceded more goals than everybody. That team that we played last night also conceded more goals than everybody except the bottom 3.
And against the team, and they played against. Okay,
we're there.
Hold on.
We're near the bottom.
Hold on. I haven't finished.
Let me speak, bro. You were talking, but one second.
No, but what he said.
The difference in Adam. Let me tell you what Ange did.
Can I finish?
No, bro.
So I can't finish my point.
Let me tell you what Ange did differently in that final.
Let me tell you
what Ange did differently in that final. What Ange did differently is what he hasn't been doing all season, which is not go there to play a game or play a final to perform better than the opposition. He came there to win a game of football. He played a lineup that was more physical than Man United. And there has been proof throughout this whole Europa League campaign. The teams that we beat are the teams that we are better than physically. We came up against a Premier League team that matched us, not even matched us, exceeded us in physicality. When we're seeing Mason Mount caught out wide with Bentancur, and we're seeing Ahmad Gate caught out wide with Basuma, we see them win those battles because they are better physically than us. As soon as you are done, let me finish. As soon as they are done, 1 second, brother. As soon as I am bringing facts. As soon as they are done, matching or exceeding your physicality to this Manchester United team, there is nothing they have. So let me tell you what the future of Ruben Amorim football is going to look like, because it's the man that you're backing. It's going to be his centre half. For God knows whatever revelation that came down to him, his centre back inverts next to his defensive midfielder in a back three. Tell me how that is conducive with possession football, especially when he plays two dogs in midfield. He doesn't want any central progression. Kobe Mino, who started the FA Cup final last year and was man of the match.
We're doing tactical analysis.
We are doing tactical analysis. Let me finish.
No, but how are you doing a tactical analysis on players that aren't his? It's not his team.
It's not about the players, bro.
It is.
It's about who he plays and where he plays them.
Of course it is.
It's about the profiles that he wants. Let me finish.
How many Ange players were on that pitch? How many Ange players were on that pitch?
Let me finish.
How many Ange players were on that pitch?
Let me tell you what Ruben Amorim wants to do in the future. His centre back is going to invert into midfield. He's going to play. I'm not done. And you're going to hear it whether you like it or not. You're going to hear it whether I'm going to shout over you. I'll shout over you, bro. He wants to play two dogs in midfield. He wants to play two. Brother, you're not hearing facts, brother. Exactly, I do. So let me finish. It's a podcast. I'm supposed to speak. No, I'm here to speak, right? So let me finish speaking, brother.
Can I just say?
No, he's in Amorim's head. He knows what Amorim's going to do. He knows what Amorim's going to do.
Well, he's the conversation right now.
He's in his head.
I'm gonna let you finish your point. I'm gonna let you finish your point. Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish your point. You're saying this, you want to go off, yeah? When I'm speaking, bro, I'm just this is, and you can put this on the edit or not. When I'm speaking, you're breaking me off and then going on a tangent.
Because
and again, upset when I'm trying to break you off.
Can we talk about that then? Because there's a reason why it takes so long for you to land, bro. There's a reason why.
You're doing it yourself, though.
Boys, but we can all speak. We can all speak. We can all speak.
I don't care what you're on, bro.
It doesn't have to be uninterrupted. We can all speak. We can all speak.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know why we're doing this uninterrupted thing, bro. We can all speak.
We can talk, but it has to be a podcast.
But yeah,
bro, okay, cool. I hear you. Okay, cool.
I've let you land so much, but every time I open my mouth, you're breaking me up. Then you're going on a tangent. They get upset. I'm breaking you. What are you talking about, bro?
We move on. Let me tell you what Amorim wants to do in the future.
But we don't know this. This is speculation.
No.
It's speculation. It is speculation.
Hussein, hold on. First of all, guys, I'm gonna let Ab say something, but when we're talking about the manager, it doesn't always have to be in generalities. There is also tactics involved. So what Abs is saying,
I understand that.
Let him land at least first, because you're saying he had 3 years at Sporting or whatever where he was playing this way. So a lot of what he's saying, what he wants to do, we have evidence of that.
What he's saying, we're already aware of. We're not stupid.
Okay, cool. Can I make my conclusion about it? So let me tell you what I think he's going to do, and let me tell you this is why my conclusion why I want him out. Because this is about me and me declaring that I'm Amorim out. This isn't just about this one game. The change in this game was, for me, question marks and criticism turned to my decision, right? That's what it was. Before this game, it was question marks and looking at him sideways. After this game, it is a conclusion of my decision about whether I want this guy to be my manager. What he wants is no central progression from midfield. So people who want to see the play through the middle of the pitch, we're not going to be seeing that. He wants to play two dogs in that defensive midfield areas, which is why Kobe Mino, which is the point I was making, Kobe, who is a talented footballer, we all agree with that, right? Who was man of the match in the FA Cup final and started a final in the Euros, is on the bench in this game because this manager cannot fit him into this system. I agree with systems are very important in modern day football. But you have to realize what Manchester United have to be. Manchester United have to be the best. Like, it doesn't matter what football is happening, because Man United played defensive football and transition football when we were growing up. We saw Man United counter-attack a lot, but we played the football that was the most effective and best in the time. Right now, Amorim is not going to provide you that in the future. I promise you that much, brother. I know I won't be proved wrong. I know I won't be. And I'll put my neck on the line. I won't be proved wrong by this guy. Why? Because there is no central progression. His centre-back inverts. Brother, he has 10s who are playing in awkward positions for them to be receiving the ball, brother. He wants the left-footed right wing back and left-footed left wing back, which doesn't necessarily work. Even though we look at his signings,
can I
signings?
Conclusion.
Wait, signings for who? For Sporting or for United?
But for Sporting and the way how it's going to look.
Can I have a rebuttal to that?
Doggies, bro.
Can I have a rebuttal to that? This season, when we watched his Sporting team play against City, how did they play? That's a Premier League side. That was basically
that's a team that lost one of their team.
Hold on.
I have an answer to that question.
Listen, can I just say, Sporting, when he arrived at Sporting, you saw the situation at Sporting.
Yeah, he returned. Wallah, he turned them around.
He turned them around
for sure.
Changed their lives.
Hadn't won title in God knows how many years, and turned it around. Yeah, even when bear in mind that he came in with being a Benfica man already. Yeah, so he came into a club where already it was hostile. Yeah, turned it around, got his system, got the place that he wanted in that system, and you saw how they played.
And you brought the City game.
So I'm just saying, from a logical point of view, bro. Yeah, and given the final, yes, everything he said is there's truth in what he's saying, and I'm not disagreeing what you're saying, and we're aware of all the tactical stuff that you're saying. We're aware of the flaws. We're not denying the flaws, bro.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you.
No, but you mentioned the City game. Can I respond to that after you finish?
Absolutely. What I'm saying to you, the squad that he has and the team that he put out last night. he's playing essentially with bums. That is the reality. Whether
I
you
don't
like
disagree,
it or
I don't
not,
disagree, yeah.
you got two strikers that share about single-digit goals. Both of them
it's
combined
pathetic.
have not touched double digits.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've scored the fewest. One of the teams that scored the fewest amount of goals. We create the fewest amount of chances. Yeah. This is not a stat that only arrived when Ruben. That was a stat last season as well. So, and he mentioned this quite a few times last season. All the metrics last season said where we're going to be 14, 15.
So I'm saying it's
This
not a
year,
surprise.
We're sitting at 16, 2 places below where the metrics say we're
Okay,
going to
cool.
be.
Thank you.
So that is the reflection of the quality of players that we have.
I
at our
agree,
disposal.
but I'm talking about even if we give him
Yes,
better players,
okay.
what it's going to look
Okay,
like.
but that's you making an assumption, and you're hold on.
But no, based on evidence, there's evidence,
You're
there's
probably
evidence.
disagree with
It's
what I'm saying to
hypothesis,
you.
Yeah.
bro.
This is, and you're probably gonna disagree with what I'm gonna say to you. That judgment that you've got right now is clouded by the current results and of
I don't
Manchester
think
United.
so. I don't
Yeah,
think because I had these questions before the European final.
I'm saying to you,
Well, I had these questions before the
okay,
European
but
final.
what I'm saying to you, I know, but I'm saying this season in general. This season, the results that we had this season, how everything has transpired this season is what's clouding your judgment.
Can I give you a
Hold on,
Ruben
can I just
Amorim
say-
quote after the
no,
City game? I hear you. Can
no,
I give you a
but
Ruben Amorim
just
quote
to round
after
off,
the City
just to round
game?
off, yeah. I'm telling you, the logical thing to do, okay, in my opinion, I just think it's logical. It's not,
Okay.
I just think this guy hasn't had a fair opportunity. Give him the summer, whether you disagree or not, and you think it's gonna be a
I
waste
don't
of time,
mind,
whatever.
that's
But
I
he's gonna
agree,
get
I
the
know.
summer whether you like it or not.
Yeah, his owner's gonna back
get
him.
the players that he wants.
Okay.
Yeah, get the players that he wants.
Yeah.
To play his system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next season, till November, December, whatever it is, then you can make your real judgment.
Yeah.
And then whatever you say at that point, I can't
Can I say
argue.
one sentence before I
Now,
go? Just one
how
sentence
can
about
you judge
Amorim
on
before you
anything
see-
that's
one
going
quote,
on?
I
I
promise you,
don't
one Amorim
understand
quote.
that, bro.
One Amorim quote after the City game, and I'm you straight after this. After the Sporting game, you mentioned that game, you quoted that game. He mentioned directly, "I'm going to Manchester United, and I can't play this football at Manchester United." So he was aware that the football that he's playing at
it'll
Sporting
take time.
wasn't good enough. But go ahead.
You said it would take time.
So wait.
Hold on, no.
Let him speak.
Alright, but I'm coming back to that.
Hold on.
I'm next.
You come back to
Okay,
that.
but
Well, I let
he's
go.
actually.
Well, I
I
have-
want to ask
but
you. That's
come
not
back
the
to
two.
it.
That's
Well,
not the two thing what he said.
He
If you
basically
listen
said
to the
that,
whole
we can
thing,
talk about it.
he said it
We
would
can
take
talk about it.
time.
Let him
for
go,
my
let him
team to
land,
play
let him
like
land,
that. That's
let
what
him
he
land.
said.
I want to
Come on,
ask
Let's be
something.
truthful about
You
that.
said let's give him the summer to bring a few.
Yeah.
I, for the most part, agree with that. Even though this is my next thing. If for example, Man United decided tomorrow they change their mind, they want to keep him, and they decide it's not working, it hasn't worked, we want to try someone else.
They want to sack him. You mean? They want to sack him?
Would you find that crazy?
You know what? I wouldn't find it crazy. Not because of. I wouldn't find it crazy because I understand that he hasn't given much to people.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
And I understand.
agree.
But you know
I
what?
agree.
But also because I understand fan culture. I
It's not
understand.
even about fan
It's the
culture.
pressure.
But it's not
It
even
is
about fan
pressure though.
culture. But also, it's also not even about fan culture, bro. To warrant progression in your job and to be given more time as well too.
Yeah.
You also have to basically be passing what is it?
You have to
check
give
marks
something
along-
for.
along-
Yeah,
along-
and I understand that.
And if we're being real, guys,
Yeah.
this is why for me, I'm gonna say it right now. If they keep Amorim or not, I don't give a damn. I'm serious. I do not give a damn. If they decide to
We
fire
don't
him
care.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
attached.
care.
No, and I understand.
And
I understand
even
it.
if they decide to keep him, you know what? It's not the end
But-
of the world.
okay,
either.
but if you're asking
they
me-
decide to sack him
Yeah.
tomorrow, I'm sorry, Liban. If we're being real here, he has not done. His job is not foolproof enough.
doesn't
to
that
say,
worry you?
Huh?
Doesn't
No,
that
it
worry
doesn't-
you? No.
That's what I was
From
gonna say.
the ownership point of view, doesn't that worry you?
Let me answer. The ownership doesn't have a clue what they're doing. That's another thing, bro.
they're
Because
trying.
this whole
That's what I'm saying.
ride the storm thing is only good if you have a plan, and this club doesn't have a plan.
They haven't got a
But
fucking
outside
clue.
of that, it doesn't worry me whatsoever because guys, football is not romantic. It's next man up. If Amorim's not good enough for the job, you think
Someone
Amorim?
else has
No,
got
but
to
I
be in
told you
charge.
this last year with
Yeah,
Ten
it's
Hag as
facts,
well
it's
too.
facts.
It's just next
It's
man up,
facts.
bro. Ten Hag's about to take the Leverkusen job. Do you think any Man United fan gives a shit about Ten Hag anymore? 12 months ago, they were writing letters to the ownership. If Amorim's not good enough, go find the next guy.
And they'll
who
make
could be
jokes
enough.
about the
Yeah,
next guy as
listen,
well.
1,000
They're gonna,
yes,
I'm gonna,
yes,
and I'm gonna
no,
sing
but
jokes about the next person.
Yes,
That's how football
your
works,
point is
bro.
fine, and I'm not against what you're saying. But at this point, to do that now, to me, it's just not logical.
No, that
Your
was just
thing-
worrying me.
Your thing would make sense to me if it was going into next season. Once he's had a summer, October, November,
Liban-
things not improved, get him out of the
Sure,
door.
Can I explain the
Absolutely.
logic of
Sure,
my
sure.
stance?
Right
But
now,
you want to know what else
yeah.
can be logical
Yeah.
as well too in the eyes of some fans.
What?
Some fans, and again, you saying no one thinks this way. I think a lot of people do. A lot of fans would also argue, Liban, it's not logical to give him 200 million
I
pounds
agree.
after the last 6 months.
Because there's
A lot
one
of
thing
fans
that's
would
very
argue
clear.
the logic.
No,
We
wait,
must,
but then-
a
okay, but
manager
this is why-
has to, well, let me just say this
because
point.
Liban-
A manager, and you mentioned this as well, because he hasn't shown anything to warrant keeping his job, which is why you wouldn't be surprised about it. A manager has to warrant financial backing in the window. And there is no way, from what I'm seeing so far, and from what I've seen from the peak of his football at Sporting, there is no way I see you can give this manager £200 million in the summer, and even the final evolution of this team, I still think is not enough for Manchester United to succeed. And it's illogical. It's illogical to say that.
I give him till about November, bro.
You see, okay, no, hold on.
I give him till about,
No, that's fair. That's 100% fair. That's 100% fair.
A lot of it depends on the summer.
That's 100% fair. That's 100% fair. You give him till November. That's why I'm saying a lot of fans wouldn't find it logical to give a man that you would only give till November 200 million pounds. Because leave it. Hold on, let me finish. If you fire him by November, you've invested 200 million pounds into his squad, and who knows if the next manager.
And he's a back five manager, yes. He's a back five manager, which means what did Sir Jim say? What did Sir Jim say? I'm gonna sign his specialist.
Sir Jim can go to hell.
But he's good. He can. But he said that he's gonna sign him his specialist. So if you wanna bring him till November and bring in 200 million of his specialists in, then that means that the next manager, when they come in November, they're gonna be here with a wing back here and a wing back there. When they wanna play it back.
I agree, but that's where the club needs to be. But that's where the club needs to be smart and understand that there's a game model in place, and that we have to.
The game model shit.
No, listen, that's what I'm in agreement with you, but that's not on the manager. That's what I'm trying to say. It's on the board. The board are a mess, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of heads that need to roll before we start turning on him. Wait, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's so many players we need to sign for Amorim's system, but at the same time, they have to. They're silly if they don't. In the back of their mind, think that. Okay, the players that we're signing, not only they have to have high IQ, not only can they play Amorim's system, in case we bring in a back four manager, they have to be able to play his system.
We're going to spend $1 billion in the summer.
Because we have a billion. Because we have a billion. We have a billion.
You know what you said? We have to do what?
That's what I'm saying. It's an uphill battle. It is an uphill battle.
It's not possible.
Listen, to answer your question, and I understand that concern in terms of giving a manager 200 million to spend.
That's what we just did.
I hear that, but at the end of the day, everything in football is if, buts, and maybes. Everything.
But
look, let me tell you. What's it?
As fans. But hold on. But as owners and as board members, it's not up to them to play ifs, buts, and maybes. It's about them playing the percentage games. Bro.
Yeah, of course.
What's most likely?
And I understand that.
But you saying you're gonna give him to November? That's what 2-3 months of the season.
I know, but listen,
and bring in someone that I have more assurances.
Look, have we not learned?
This last 7 months have been a waste.
Listen. I'm saying both ways, whether we keep Amorim this summer, give him a budget, and then let him go into next season, or whether we decide we're gonna get a new manager in and give them the budget next summer. Nothing's guaranteed next season.
Of course,
that's what people have to understand.
What's a bigger risk?
The
bigger risk is bringing in someone new.
I'll be honest with you.
Success was more likely to bring us success.
I'll be honest with you.
Bringing in someone new is
bigger
bigger.
risk is bringing someone in.
100%.
I don't know.
Someone new.
I don't agree.
100 billion percent.
Okay.
Why is that a bigger risk?
I'll tell you why it's a bigger risk. To come into Manchester United, and I'm telling you now, being Manchester United manager is probably the most high pressure job there is in football. Of course. Coming into Manchester United, at least with Amorim, we've seen in terms of how he can handle the pressure.
He can. We finished 17th and we lost the Spurs. He didn't handle the pressure well whatsoever, bro.
I'm talking about you got to
external.
External. You got to take everything.
What would you grade? Okay, taking everything into account, what would you grade his 6 month?
4 or even 3 maybe.
So then he's shown that he hasn't handled it well.
But that's based off the results.
I asked you. I know. I didn't ask you results. I said everything. What would you rank his entire time?
I'm right. In terms of all the factors included.
Everything
I'm right bang in the middle, bro.
No, but the point still stands.
But the point stands.
That's why I'm saying.
No, that's not the point, Abs. I don't think that's the point.
It's gone straight over your heads. Listen, my point is this. Ruben Amorim, whether you keep him next season or not, does not guarantee us that the next person coming in is gonna. There's no guarantee, regardless of what direction you go. But I would rather, from what I've seen from him and how he's handled the pressure, and I'm talking from fan criticism to media to how he handles the team, to the players, to like how he's handled the Rashford situation. Everything. I'm taking everything into account. I see this guy.
Hang your hat on that guy.
I don't think he's done a great job in any of that, bro.
But this is what I've seen from him, and this is my observation of just based on what I've seen of him in the last 6 months. He doesn't give a fuck about the noise outside. He doesn't give a fuck about the noise inside.
Because he's been told by
he's gonna do the things his way, regardless of what.
That's only because
and until he gets his way.
But that's only
have that. That's
what we need.
And I don't know what I'm gonna get with that next manager. I don't know. Are they gonna handle the pressure?
That's only because the club have basically told him you're gonna be here next summer. Of course, if someone told you have no one's got a shotgun to your head, do whatever you want. Of course
you're not gonna care about the noise because your owners, the guys who give you your money. Honestly, let me just make this point because the question that's gonna happen naturally after this, being the only person that's openly Amorim out now, is on the table.
Yeah.
I wasn't making a joke.
I don't think that's a bad stance to be on, by the way. If you think your Amorim should leave, that's not even the worst shout, bro.
But the natural question that is going to be coming from fans, and who are you gonna bring in? And I hear this about. I don't want to talk about Arsenal changing to them, but about Amorim isn't such a big miss of what we've seen in the last 7 months to say, oh my God, what are we gonna do without him? What are we going to do?
It's not about that.
You find the next guy, you find the next manager who you believe is more likely to bring us success. Because like you say, I agree with you, there's no guarantees in football. We could get relegated next year. That could happen.
What's success?
Bring it trajectory. It's just about trajectory. Are we going upwards? Right now we're going down. We keep
But then you ask questions. But then you ask questions. But then you ask questions.
We went lower. We went further down.
We were going down with this squad, with the same squad.
And we went further down.
And we told, look, bro, just logically, let's just bring it from a logical point of view. I'm just talking, just pure logic, bro. He's coming mid-season. He asked, can I start in the summer? He said, can I start in the summer? They said, no, it's now or never. He's come in. He said, we knew the style of football he played. We knew the system. We asked him to leave his club mid-season to come play that football at our club. He's inherited this squad. We then went into January, promising him signings, never got him a single attacker, took 2 players away from him, and they said, yeah, here, have a left wing back that we just got from Italy.
But that's why
this is all we can get you. Have that.
Yeah.
And then now we're expecting him to do miracles on the pitch and show trajectory.
It's not a miracle to beat Spurs. It's not a miracle to beat Spurs.
But Spurs are better than us. Why are we acting like we're better in the league?
Yeah, but they're in the Europa League out of merit.
They beat us 3 times.
They're in the Europa League out of merit.
They beat us 3 times, not because they're a much better team than us, bro, because they're shit, but we're also shit too. They're 17th in the league, bro.
I'm hearing, and then on top of that, bro, and you know what blows my mind?
I'm back.
Okay,
I'm here. Okay, we need to wrap it up now.
I am to wrap it up.
We didn't get to talk about Ineos, bro.
Listen,
about Amorim,
bro.
We'll save it for another day.
Cut some of the Amorim bit out and we can talk about Ineos.
No, we'll save it for another day.
Listen, can I just say one last thing, yeah? I'm going to say one last thing.
Yes, last thing.
It blows my mind because the other day I saw that Sean Dyche interview with...
Sean who?
Sean Dyche, whatever it is, yeah.
Go on.
His interview on the overlap here, and I saw people talking, clipping it, talk about, look at this. He said this, everyone's aware of the comment. He said the comment that if he was to take over Man United at the same point as Amorim, he feels like he would have got way more points.
More
points,
and he's probably right.
I agree.
I don't dispute that. He's actually probably right. He probably would have got more points. He's a very traditional manager. You know, just get the balls into the box, get the goals, play 2 up front, whatever
That's
it is.
the way Amorim wants to play.
Hold on. Let me land for a second.
I think he's Pep.
Let me land for a second. That will look good for the short-term fix. That's a good short-term fix. Yeah, we get results because, like I said to you last season as well, so results is the most important thing to fans.
Yep.
Ultimately, you could play the most boring football like Chelsea used to do back in the day, or you could play the most exciting football that Barcelona did.
And if you win the league at the end,
at the end of the day, people only care about results and trophies.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, Sean Dyche could come in and ultimately get us results in the short term, but would Sean Dyche ever get us to a league title? Would he ever get to us a champion?
Yes, the question is not about Sean Dyche. Would Ruben Amorim do that for you?
Yes, thank you.
I've gone beyond. For me now, like I said to you at the start of this podcast,
Yeah.
I've gone beyond results now. For me, it's not about results. I need this whole club in terms of its reset, and that goes to the players.
Yeah.
To the owners,
It might be
and
the
then
manager.
Not this manager.
It might be-
Not this
Why?
manager.
All right, okay.
For me, not this
All right.
manager. Not this manager.
Even though I'm enjoying this so
Not
much,
this manager, man.
even though
Not
I'm
this
enjoying
manager.
this so much, yeah.
No,
You're
I
nice.
barely said anything.
You're almost
This guy's holding me
and
back.
I'm sad because I wanted to hear more
I
from you,
love you. got
but
3 people.
it is. But don't worry, I'm sure they'll get to hear more from
Don't
you
you worry.
on your
Hey,
channel.
I'm coming. Don't worry.
Even though I enjoyed it so much, we're
wait.
gonna have to
I knew you
we're gonna have to
Yeah,
end
wrap
it.
it up.
We're gonna have to wrap it up here. You know, this was great. It's a great watch, to be fair. Like, you saw me in the intro, and I took a seat back. I took a seat and I enjoyed it, and I'm sure you guys enjoyed it as well. Yeah, man, it's a shame that, you know, losing to Spurs in the Europa League final brought this out of you guys, when you guys were in this position for years now. Obviously, now it's just more
We've
obvious.
never been in this position.
Yeah, true, to be fair. Potentially finishing 17th in the league.
All right, can
It's
you wrap
mad.
it up, man? You're talking too much.
But yeah, anyways, that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, Lias travelled there. Anyone who did travel, I'm sorry if you had any
We're
bad
suckers.
experiences.
All of us who traveled were suckers.
Sorry if you had any bad experiences. It's obviously unfortunate to hear that it was like, it's hard to you know find places to stay and stuff. So I'm sure. I hope you guys got back safe.
You sound devastated.
I wish the
about that.
best. No, it's sad. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's more than football. You know, I want everyone to be safe, especially United fans. I want it to be good. So I hope everything's good. You know, I hope you guys got home safe. And listen, it's just football, man. It's only game. Why you have to be mad? Bye, guys.